want every side to come together to attempt to take down the 100 side.
Man, they gotta understand.
We want all the smoke.
We go off the content.
Three, two, one. Hey there, welcome back to the channel where we keep it real. No capping. I'm your host, bringing you nothing but straight fire and authenticity. Today, we're diving into 12 rooms that I got to promote. The 100 ENT showroom, hosted by Big Wack100. The Beehive room. Love and R&B room, hosted by the Queen of the 100 side, R&B. No room for the weak. No mercy room. Spin the block room. 100 ENT Jailbreak Squad room. 100 ENT Solve room. Petty Betty and Toxic Tanya room. Dangerous Minds room, hosted by Beast. Good Burger, hosted by Pitbull. Sleepless in LA, and many more. If you want to get closer or you want to be a part of the show, go to Clubhouse, follow one of these rooms, or you look for a room titled with Wack100. These particular videos all made possible by the one and only Wack100. Get ready to vibe with me as we explore the hardest topics that need some real recognition in the streets. Let's jump right into it and show some love to this channel by hitting the like and or subscribe button. So, without further ado, hold it down. One mic on Wack.
You'd all be speaking German right now. Maybe a little Japanese thrown in. But we won the war, and we don't celebrate, but we're going to celebrate on Saturday, and we're going to celebrate from now on. We're going to celebrate our greatness and our achievements. This week we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army. For 2.5 centuries, our soldiers have marched into the raging fires of battle and obliterated America's enemies. There's never been anything like it. There's never been a force like this. And I rebuilt it. I gave you so much money for 4 years. It was crazy. And we just approved our largest budget for military operations, over $1 trillion. We've never even come close. But our army has smashed foreign empires, humbled kings, toppled tyrants, and hunted terrorist savages through the very gates of hell. Our soldiers do not rest until they win. You know that better than anybody. From June 1775 to June 2025, those foolish enough to challenge America's army have been met with unyielding strength, unbreakable spirit, and unstoppable overwhelming force. Time and again, our enemies have learned that if you dare to threaten the American people, American soldier will chase you down, crush you, and cast you into oblivion. That's what happens, unfortunately. Doesn't sound very nice, but it's true, isn't it? The last sound you ever hear will be the chilling howl of Black Hawks in the dead of night, the thunderous boom of artillery fire, or the ferocious roar of a U.S. Army infantry brigade charging over the horizon. That brigade is going to charge like you've never seen before, and hopefully I can keep you out of that, but if I don't, you're ready. Is that right? If I can keep you out of it, if I keep you out of it, that's okay, but if we need it, you're ready. You know, it's called peace through strength, isn't it? Peace through strength. For our adversaries, there's no greater fear than the United States Army. They all fear us, and we have the greatest force anywhere on earth. You know, you read different stories that others are building and building and building. We have a force like no other. They said it would take 5 years to defeat ISIS. We did it in 4 weeks. 4 weeks. We let them go. Unlike other of your leaders, I let them go, and we had General Raisin Kane, who's now the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, because I liked him. He was a warrior. He was a great warrior, and now he's been rewarded for his incredible work. But they said it would take 5 years. We did it in 4 weeks. Someday I'm going to ask him to explain that one to me. But it was the television generals that said that. The real generals got out and fought, and nobody fought like them ever. But for the American people, there's no greater pride, because you are the righteous sword of American justice and the ultimate shield of American freedom. This week we remember that we only have a country because we first had an army. The army was first. In fact, the army was even before the country. You know that, right? 1 year before the country. After 250 years, we still proudly declare that we are free because you are strong. You are so strong. We're safe because you are
my shit messing up
brave. America's flag will never fall because America's army will never, ever fail. Never going to fail. Every branch of the armed forces has played a critical role in protecting our nation, but no one has done more fighting, bleeding, and winning than the U.S. Army. Nobody's done that. The Army has earned more combat medals and more battle ribbons than any other service, and 70% of all of the medals of honor. We give away medals of honor all the time at the White House to incredibly brave people, but you have 70% of them. Army soldiers, and especially our Army paratroopers, truly go all the way. You know that expression, all the way. It's one of your beautiful expressions. As President of the United States, let me express my undying gratitude to our nation for every soldier here today, for every veteran and their families, those incredible families that are with us and all across America, and for every patriot who has worn the uniform over 250 years. Can you imagine that? We thank you from the absolute bottom of our hearts. Few places loom larger in Army lore than where we are gathered today. The one and only Fort Bragg. The one and only Fort Bragg. But remember, it was only that little brief moment that it wasn't called Fort Bragg. It was by the Biden administration, not Trump. I had nothing to do with it. We got it changed. We said, I came here numerous times, and they kept saying Fort Bragg. I said, it's not the name, but then I was making a speech. I said, what do you think I should call this place? Call it Fort Bragg. I said, Fort Bragg, how you doing? We won a lot of battles from this place, and that's the way it is. It wasn't even close. When Pete and some of the generals came to see me, I said, not even close. Not even close. This is the home of the Green Berets, the Sky Dragons, and the All-American 82nd Airborne. We know what 82nd Airborne Division. This is where the GIs who won the Second World War learned to pack their parachutes and push howitzers and go right into those C-47s with lots of arms and push them right out those big, beautiful doors and wield their bayonets and pry the enemy from the hedgerows of the French countryside. France needed us badly. We were there. A lot of people needed us badly. They still do, maybe worse than ever. It was here in the soil that the Army forged the medal that held strong at Bastogne. It was here the mighty paratroopers earned their wings before they rained down death from above to liberate Sicily, Normandy, and even the Netherlands. That's right. We saved the Netherlands. Every inch of this base is steeped in the legacy of those warriors who have said with pride, "Sir, I trained at Fort Bragg, sir." That was pretty cool. And that is why we restored the historic name of this very, very special place. I don't know if it could be the same place. Fort Bragg is in. That's the name. And Fort Bragg, it shall always remain. That's never going to be happening again. And for a little news for the fake news back there, the fake news, ladies and gentlemen, look at them. Look at them all. Oh, yeah, what I have to put up with. Fake news. What I have to put up with. But they're all right. They've been very nice today. They were impressed with that display, I can tell you that. I think it took them a little by surprise. But for a little breaking news, we are also going to be restoring the names to Fort Pickett, Fort Hood, Fort Gordon, Fort Rucker, Fort Polk, Fort A.P. Hill, and Fort Robert E. Lee. We won a lot of battles out of those forts. It's no time to change. And I'm superstitious. You know, I like to keep it going, right? I'm very superstitious. We want to keep it going. So that's a big story. We just announced that today to you for the first time. They said, why didn't you wait till Saturday? I said, I can't wait. I got to talk to my friends here today. This is a record crowd. You know, you never had a crowd this big. That's an honor. You think this crowd would have showed up for Biden? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I want to thank so many great leaders here today, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, who's been great. By the way, Pete, thank you. Great. And he went through the wars, you know? Pete went through the wars. He had to get through a very hostile group of people that I think really don't want to see America be great again, maybe, or something. But he persevered, and he got there, and he's doing a fantastic job. Great job, Pete. Thank you very much. Secretary of Veterans Affairs, Doug Collins, a fantastic man. Thank you, Doug. You're doing a great job. Doing a great, great job. Way, way up from the last administration, Veterans Administration. It's way up. You saw the recent poll. The people are happy. They weren't happy a couple of years ago. They were really happy 5 years ago. But it went downhill from there. We did so much. We got you medical. If you had to wait, if you had to delay at all, you go out to see a private doctor. We pay the bill. You take care of it. You don't wait for 6 months and end up getting very sick on something that could have been done with a little shot or a pill. We did that. Then they wanted to drop that. I said, we're not dropping it. But, Doug, I'm proud of you. I just heard some great things. Thank you very much. The Secretary of the Army, a really brilliant young guy, went to Yale, can't have everything. Top student, Dan Driscoll. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. And we have your senators, Senator Ted Budd and Senator Tom Tillis. Thank you, fellas. Congressman Richard Hudson, Pat Harrigan. Where's Pat? Pat? Good, Pat. You're doing great. You guys are amazing. And we have the big brass, General Andrew Pappas. General, thank you. Thank you, General. Doing a great job. General John Bragg. John, thank you. Great job. Thank you for today, John. General Greg Anderson. Thank you. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Sergeant Major of the Army, Michael Weimer. And before going further, I want to say a few words about the situation in Los Angeles, California. Have you heard of the place? Where I've deployed thousands of National Guard troops and hundreds of Marines to protect federal law enforcement from the attacks of a vicious and violent mob. And some of the radical left, they say, oh, that's not nice. Well, if we didn't do it, there wouldn't be a Los Angeles. It'd be burning today, just like their houses were burning a number of months ago. Generations of Army heroes did not shed their blood on distant shores only to watch our country be destroyed by invasion and third world lawlessness here at home, like is happening in California. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not let that happen. It's never going to happen. What you're witnessing in California is a full-blown assault on peace, on public order, and on national sovereignty carried out by rioters bearing foreign flags with the aim of continuing a foreign invasion of our country. We're not going to let that happen. Remember, millions of people were allowed to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted by stupid people or radical left people or sick people. But regardless, open border policy, the dumbest policy yet. I would say even dumber than men playing in women's sports, transgender for everyone. Even dumber than that. They're hurling bricks and cinder blocks at law enforcement. Did you see they're breaking up the sidewalks and the curbs, breaking it up with big, strong hammers? These guys are professionals. These are not amateurs. They're breaking it up because they took the bricks away from them. They came in with bricks, red bricks, that they could throw at our military and at the police in L.A., who are very good, but they weren't aggressive like our soldiers. Our soldiers really were aggressive, but they all worked together. But they came in with bricks, they were taken away, and they had hammers. Oh, wow, how did that happen? And they're pounding the sidewalk. I said, what the hell is he doing? And he's breaking it up and making it into concrete bombs in a way, and they're dropping them on our military. They're throwing them at our military. Pretty good arms they had, too. Hits guys right in the face. Big chunk of concrete, worse than a brick. They're taking them up to the bridges, and they're dropping them in the cars that are going by. These are animals. But they proudly carry the flags of other countries, but they don't carry the American flag. They only burn it. Did you see a lot of the flags being burned? They weren't being burned by people from our country. Or
Y'all think we could bring that over to the South real quick?
Yeah, I got you.
Oh, okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
Yep.
right now standing guard to protect federal property and personnel and uphold the supremacy of federal law. That's what they're doing. They're protecting our ICE agents. They're protecting the police in Los Angeles. The head of the police in Los Angeles, a good man, I hear a good man, but he was actually saying we really did need this help. It had gotten away from them. It had long gotten away. And we gave it to them. Not only are these service members defending the honest citizens of California, they're also defending our republic itself. And they are heroes. They're in there, they're heroes. They're fighting for us. They're stopping an invasion just like you'd stop an invasion. The big difference is most of the time when you stop an invasion, they're wearing a uniform. In many ways, it's tougher when they're not wearing a uniform because you don't know exactly who they are. In Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent, and they paid troublemakers, agitators, and insurrectionists. They're engaged in this willful attempt to nullify federal law and aid the occupation of the city by criminal invaders. That's what it is. They're invaders, no different. Their position is that the rioting will not stop unless ICE withdraws from Los Angeles and ceases the enforcement of federal immigration law. In other words, they came in here illegally. Many of them came out of prisons and jails, the most heinous people. They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from Asia. They came from the prisons of these places. They were put into the United States and allowed to stay here because we had a grossly unfit president who listened to whoever was operating the auto pen. And they allowed these people to stay. And by the way, I've known this guy for a long time. He was never the sharpest bulb. But you know what he was? He wasn't a radical left lunatic. He never dreamt about open borders. He never said that when he was of sound mind, which actually was a very long time ago. So sad what they've done to our country. I will say that without question, however, you're seeing the financial numbers. We've now got the hottest country anywhere in the world. And 6 months ago, it was the coldest country. We're being laughed at all over the world. I was in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE. We brought back $5.1 trillion into our country. And all three leaders, they're great leaders, all three said, you know, you are presiding over the hottest country anywhere in the world. And they said the exact same thing. They said 6 months ago, it was the coldest country. I'll tell you, it changed on a date. You know what November 5th was? It was the election of a president that loves you. And that's when it all changed. That's when it all changed. Within the span of a few decades, Los Angeles has gone from being one of the cleanest, safest, and most beautiful cities on earth to being a trash heap with entire neighborhoods under the control of transnational gangs and criminal networks. It's horrible what's happened so quickly. As the entire world can now see, uncontrolled migration leads to chaos, dysfunction, and disorder. And you know what? They have it in Europe, too. It's happening in many of the countries of Europe. They don't like it when I say it, but I'll say it loudly and clearly. They better do something before it's too late. Very simply, we will liberate Los Angeles and make it free, clean, and safe again. It's happening very quickly. The one big, beautiful bill, you've heard about it. We call it the one big, I was on one of the television shows, I think Deface the Nation. Ladies and gentlemen, Deface the Nation. It's actually called Face the Nation for those of you that are smart enough not to know, because you're better off not knowing. But I was on one of the shows, and I said, we got to get a great bill. They said, would you like it to be one bill or would you like it to be 7 or 8 bills? They said, I want one big, beautiful bill. And the Republican Party liked that statement. They call it one big, beautiful bill. So that's good. And that's what it is. It's great. And it's currently before Congress. It provides all necessary funding for ICE, for Border Patrol, and for the Department of Defense. And I told you at a level that we've never had before, over $1 trillion. We better get that bill approved. Otherwise, your helicopters and your planes and your equipment's going to start to look a little bit old, General. You better push your favorite congressman. You better push these 2 senators. I think they're in good shape, however.
They gonna get you tripping.
What you mean?
They wonder why Trump got the Marines out. I think he got the Marines out here.
Yeah, 700 of them.
They're around the federal buildings. You ain't even understanding. He just using the federal buildings to get them here. They're here now. They right.
And all that riding and shit.
Got one on the 405 side, right off Wilshire. You got one downtown. They got the Marines around these 2 federal buildings, but they're all within 3 to 4 miles from where the agitators are at. Now they're here. So he used those buildings to position them here. Now they're here.
So you okay? I'm trying to follow you. So
they
it's like,
here now. Now they're here. Like,
so
yeah,
I'm
they
putting
not
them in
100
position for the next hit.
Yeah, they not 100 and they ain't 2 hours away. They here.
Okay.
Now they 5 minutes away from wherever the agitators are. Actually, you got a group downtown federal building, and then you got the other group on Wilshire and Veteran, and there's probably more of them downtown. That's gonna come back them up. So now he got boots on the ground right in the city.
Thought that riding would do something and all that shit.
Ain't no telling what that nigga up to, bro. First, let me use this to get him there. Okay, I got him there. The nigga moved another 2,000 National Guards in this. They 2,500. He got 3,200 troops on the ground. It ain't got nothing to do with the police.
Oh, Gavin better say his prayers.
He been took his ass to jail. I think he said that too. The nigga said, "Oh, to lock Gavin up."
Oh shit, they got a lockdown?
I'm right by the federal building. Let's see if we see him, baby. That's
8 to 6 a.m.
Right here? Yep.
Y'all got curfew out there?
No, I ain't seen no curfew yet.
Somebody in the chat said curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. I think she said they're saying curfew from that
It's
time.
it's the mayor talking right now. Mayor Karen Bass. She just announced curfew will start at 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. And if you're out past curfew, you can be arrested.
What? What's her name?
So you either got to be
Karen,
going or yeah, that's crazy.
a black lady named Karen. They showing a map right now of the area.
Yeah, they got to have an area they locking down. They can't do the whole.
Right.
Ain't no way they gonna police the whole
This
LA
ain't the
County like that.
pandemic.
That's what
What
it
the
looked
fuck?
like. Like they was, it showed an area of LA, and that's what it looked like. But she's on the news announcing it.
She oh, okay, let me see if I can play it for y'all if y'all want me to. Y'all want me to? Yes, no, maybe so.
I'm down. Let's hear it.
Alright. Let me unmute. Okay.
Some of the violence that we've seen, the chaos later in the evenings, that it's only limited to a few streets, but it does seem to be ramping up. There was a lot of looting last night, spreading to other parts of downtown LA. I know you've said that the solution is to stop the raids, but the federal government has said that's not going to happen. What is your plan to bring calm to the city?
Well, first of all, when I say a few streets, I don't mean that to mean like it's very small, because the vandalism, especially the graffiti, has happened kind of outside of that. But nevertheless, I'm trying to counter the image that this is happening all over our city, because it is not. And so we do want law enforcement to respond aggressively. Anybody that is out committing crimes are not doing it in solidarity with immigrants. They are doing the exact opposite. So we have to enforce the law here. I'm going to continue advocating with the federal government, though, to see how disruptive this is. But there needs to be a call that says this is unacceptable, and if you engage in this behavior, you will be prosecuted. Now, we're looking at things like curfews. We're looking at other aggressive response that we can have in case this violence breaks out again.
Do you think there will be a curfew? And wouldn't you say that the LAPD is being aggressive?
Well, I do think that they are, but I do think that we need to be in terms of prevention. And I don't mean aggressive in terms of engaging with the crowd, but there's things that you can do to prevent. So I had a brief conversation with the chief this morning about a curfew. So we will be meeting about that later on today. And that's the type of aggressive tactic I was referring to.
Oh wait, is that a clip? I thought y'all said she was live.
Yeah, I thought y'all said she was live.
She is live.
When you
I'm
come
watching
around
it
here
on
playing,
Fox.
boy, they got the military
Oh
around this
God.
mother for real.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
I'm looking at them. Nigga, they got the military around the federal
Let me
building.
introduce now
Them
the
niggas is out.
councilwoman who
Look, they ain't
represents
not
the
playing.
majority of the district, Councilwoman Isabel Harato.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'm here today not just as the council member who represents downtown LA, but as its advocate who deeply loves and believes in this community. The history of Los Angeles began right here in downtown, where 200 years later, the grouping of historic neighborhoods remains the beating heart of our city, a place with rich culture and deep community. Downtown LA is a place where workers clock in before sunrise and small business owners know their customers by name, where neighbors greet each other on the sidewalk, and where generations of families have built lives, shared stories, made memories together side by side. It's one of the most vibrant and resilient and hopeful parts of our city. But too often, downtown LA is treated like a backdrop for major events, not the living, breathing community it is. And right now, it's hurting. I am deeply proud that downtown has always been the place where Angelenos from all over the city gather to peacefully protest. I support the right to demonstrate, and the mayor and I know that right is sacred, and at times it's necessary, but we must also face what's happening right now. When these peaceful rallies end and the protesters head home, another element moves in. Opportunists who come in under the cover of a peaceful protest to ravage and destroy. They are ruining local small businesses, smashing storefronts, and threatening the safety of the very community that has always welcomed people from across the city and globe. This isn't just broken glass or stolen goods, it's someone's livelihood, someone's safe space, someone's home that's been violated. And it's happening in a neighborhood where working class families are just trying to live. Our street vendors, our garment workers, many of whom are immigrants, continue to watch their communities be torn apart. And that's why I'm thankful to Mayor for leveraging this tool, enacting a curfew to begin tonight. This has been something that many of my constituents in downtown have been calling for what they're facing. This curfew is not about silencing protests. It's about protecting people and ensuring that the local residents, small businesses, our families, our elders, and our workers are not left vulnerable to those who come only to destroy. What happens in downtown reverberates all throughout LA, and when we protect downtown, we protect our city. And we're investing in its future, and we invest in our shared future. So to my colleagues and to our residents and everyone watching, downtown LA is not just a center for the First Amendment expression, it's a community. It's a home, and the people in it deserve our protection and care. That path ahead may be uncertain, but our responsibility to protect and uplift this neighborhood is not. I want to close this message from my constituents so that you hear them loud and clear. Downtown LA is home. Please keep it safe, and let's keep each other safe. Thank you, Los Angeles.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman. I'd now like to introduce Nella McCosker, who is the CEO of the Central City Association. We were having conversations this morning about a couple of things. One, the ongoing problem with violence, but also the need, when all of this subsides, is to repair and restore downtown Los Angeles, especially the businesses and properties that have been hit with graffiti. Nella McCosker.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Council Member. The swift action today to take a look at and examine how this curfew could be put in place is a good example of the leadership we see and continue to need for downtown. CCA, or Central City Association, represents businesses, institutions.
Are we still here?
Was that it?
Yup. I should probably got kicked out or something. That's crazy. So they're setting it up just a little perimeter for certain streets in downtown?
Represents the wider city. And it is the case that downtown is a neighborhood. It is the case that downtown is where immigrant-owned businesses try to operate and thrive. And so we can differentiate between downtown being a place to gather, to have your voice be heard, to peacefully protest, and the actions that we've seen each evening since this occurred in the last few days. So thank you for applying this tool. There are others certainly that we could look at as well, but hopefully Angelenos rally together in support of this really important section of our city because of the symbol and of the benefits it provides to everyone across Los Angeles. Thank you.
I'd like to open up for questions, but before I acknowledge Dr. Earl Suthers, who is the president of the Los Angeles Police Commission. Let me just say also that we did not hear about any raids that took place today. The problem is that we don't know how long these raids are going to go on. If they're going to go on for 30 days, that's what the rumor is. And if we want to see our city peaceful again, I will call upon the administration one more time to end the raids. With that, let's open it up for questions.
You called certain elements opportunists, ravaging and destroying the community. One of your staffers was arrested downtown, and now there's a curfew in your district. And I was wondering if you could speak a little bit to that and how you're feeling about the situation with one of your staffers.
Let me just say that a curfew has been in consideration for several days, but clearly after the violence that took place last night, 23 businesses looted, and just the extensive, widespread nature of the vandalism, we reached a tipping point and declared a state of emergency and called for the curfew. Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you for that question. Yes, I'm aware of what's happened to my staff member. They're on unpaid leave right now. I hold my staff to the highest standards while I wait to see due process, and so we'll see the outcome of that. But I see that as separate and apart from a reaction to what our constituents want in the city and how this type of opportunism has escalated between yesterday and the day before. And, you know, frankly, I admit my humility here and my beginnerness in that I'm new to downtown, but our downtown stakeholders have seen this multiple times over and had to basically develop their own strategies. And they saw the warning signs of how this could get worse. And they knew from past experiences that curfews have been ways in order to stem this and to calm the city once again. And it's but one tool that we can execute at this time.
Any sort of estimate of the cost of damage at this point with all this vandalism? And also, what's the latest on the Marines arriving here, and has there been anything else about what their mission will be?
So there is not a financial estimate right now unless Nella has one. Do you want to?
Millions in the case of some of the larger. In the case of some of the larger retail stores, it's in the millions. But I don't know of the 23 what the total is.
And I think it's really hard to estimate the vandalism from the graffiti. It's just widespread. I know that you have seen it. Oh, I'm sorry, you did ask that question. Who knows? I mean, I don't know if you know, Chief. I mean, the bottom line is that we're not told. Basically, we have to operate on rumors. So rumor has it that there's 700 Marines that are going to come here. I have no idea what they would do when they would get here. Right now, we have 100 National Guard who sold not all of Los Angeles. If you put downtown Los Angeles in the context of the overall city map, you see how big it is. 1 square mile compared to 503 square miles.
Peaceful protest, they let people through. Watch out, his dollar.
No, we're not. No, we're not. And we also don't know again about the ICE raids. And that's why I think, you know, I would appeal to the president to stop the ICE raids so that we can have stability in our city. I think about the families who are afraid to go to work and go to school. I was
in the hood, rappers killing each other, whatever.
Yeah, but he got to do that.
Right.
Instead of
that's his general beat.
He got to do that. So, and look, man, 1090 run great content. His editing is cool. He's funny to me. You know, his punchlines. It is what it is. So I think it's going to be a 1090 Wack100 face-off. So this what has happened. He told me.
I'll fly him out. Let's do it.
He told me if he get the paperwork, I got to face off with him.
So still after all this.
I got one more spin move.
But we still don't have the paperwork after all this.
He ordered it.
Oh, okay.
I debunked him with the newspaper. We ain't going with that. He ordered the paperwork. 1090 ordered the paperwork. He sent me, he's taught me and sent me a voice message, bro.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, white dude.
I thought you guys were like beefing. Now it seems like it's kind of like sportsman-like.
No, this is fucking with me. This is.
But you're not like mad, you want to throw a safe at his head, right?
I expect him to do this because I debunked him by going to get the shooter. He wasn't expecting that. To say Larry didn't tell.
This is like a gentlemanly like competition to see who could be the best exposer.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm not a GD. He's not a GD. I ain't from Chicago. He ain't from Chicago.
Right.
But the fact that he heard me speak on it, he went to digging on it, and he went and found another newspaper.
But this is like the funniest shit. It's like my introduction to this, like aside from the 1090 video, I watched a video of King Yella spazzing on 1090, and his arguments against 1090 were, number one, how dare you say anything negative about Larry Hoover, which is not even a real argument, because what the fuck is that? Like, he's a man, he's not a god, who cares? So if he did something wrong, it should be discussed and have content made about it, right?
They think he's a guy.
Yeah, I mean, that's just pathetic.
I asked him, I said, yo, he went to jail at 23, 24, okay? His rise from 73 to the late 90s, we know wasn't no Gandhi or Martin Luther King type rise, because that's when he caught the RICO investigation and caught the 6 life sentences to go to the feds.
Right.
So we know whatever he was doing in that time span probably wasn't a good thing in the eyes of the law or the community.
But then the other argument that Yellow was using against 1090 is basically like, you're a white boy and you just want to drum up beef between black people.
That's why you want to address
the two dumbest
That's what they say
arguments.
about your white ass.
These are so stupid.
Like that's dumb.
What are we even talking about?
Yeah,
These are the two dumbest arguments I could possibly imagine. So,
indeed,
all I have to say is,
I'm talking to you.
Larry Hoover deserves to be analyzed and judged just like everybody else. The only good argument, or at least argument that could possibly work, is in the late 60s.
Yeah.
And you tell me it was possible since you were alive back then. In the late 60s, were there different standards of snitching? Because let's be real, the world was very different 60 years ago in a ton of ways. Probably a lot of those ways are not things that we are necessarily aware of, because none of us were alive during that time
Let me tell you what debunks that.
Okay.
The Black Panthers were taken down because internally they had a what? Snitch.
Okay.
Snitching has been snitching. Your op come shoot you and you identify who they are. That's what that is.
But this is an idea that it still seems like some people struggle with, is the idea that even if someone goes out of their way to hurt you, like, yes, of course, if me and you are friends and we go rob a bank together and I tell on you, then I've done something wrong. But to a lot of people, it's hard to wrap their head around the idea that if someone comes and tries to kill you, you're also still not allowed to snitch on that person.
I'm not.
That, for a lot of people, that's tough.
I got it. Cuban Rob right there, they'll tell you. Homies and told him. Whacked and took cases. Because I know I got the money to pay a legal beagle. I don't need you in there stressed out talking about, let's take this. So I didn't send cats home from the substation. I done been hit with bodies that wasn't mine. I was in there for attempted murder, and then got hit with another murder while I'm in there for attempted murder. Four people get arrested on the street while I'm already fighting the attempt. They see I'm the juvenile. All of them go to the county jail. So you know what they do? They take them, book them, release them, come to Silmar, pull me down and say, look, you know these people? I'm looking at them, all homies. Well, they got booked this morning on the murder and they're out. You know why? Because they all said you did it. This murder, boom, 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 boom. What you got to say with it? You send me back to my cell. I fought that. This is why Red Bull loved me the way he do. Because they all knew I didn't do it. I wasn't even there. But I wrote it, beat it, right? So what I'm saying is, we ain't created these rules. Now the rules have changed. I'm just simply saying maybe everybody needs to go back to the drawing board and say, hey, there's an expiration date to snitching. If you can get away with it for 20 years, 15 years, 12 years, 8 months, 3 hours and 2 days, maybe the snitching ain't used against you. Maybe this would, or maybe we just need to just do away with snitching and all. I don't give a damn. I ain't doing nothing. My team is legal and shit. That's just what it is, because I'm gonna be real. The snitches, when they tell, they come back richer than they was before. They get famous.
Very few examples of this.
Listen, the more high profile snitch you are, the more something's supposed to happen to you.
We were just having this conversation about Max B.
is on the podcast.
If Max B did not, okay, he comes from a different world, and people are fascinated by him outside of his usual circle or whatever. But
I don't know.
We just had this conversation about Max B. I mean, Max B was going to have a hero's welcome. if what you're saying is true, Max B's return will be almost entirely destroyed.
Well, he sent
and
the paperwork.
It will be nonstop. He will be a laughing stock.
See,
he will be a joke. People will spare no expense to absolutely shit down his throat.
I'm gonna be real with you.
That's just how this
I'm
goes.
telling you what his brother telling me, right?
Right, and
I'm still up in the air on when the paperwork come, what I'm gonna do with it, because it's still a roadblock there for me.
What is the roadblock?
One of my comrades that's very close to him, and I'm gonna have to have that conversation with him. And I'm not gonna lie to you. If and when I had that conversation with him, he's from New York, very known rapper. When I had that conversation with him, and he tells me, Wack, could you not expose that paperwork? There's probably a good chance I'm not going to expose it.
See, you and 1090 are both compromised. You actually have that in common as well, because 1090 told me, and I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, but he told me that he has information about a rapper. He made the video, and he was reached out to by the absolute top upper echelon of hip hop saying, can you please not put that video out? And he abided by that.
Well, mine is just because it's a brotherhood with me and the individual. And my respect for him.
You need to be more principled.
No, my respect.
If you really believe that snitching is wrong, you need to actually be willing to destroy your relationships.
My respect for him is greater than my distaste for this dude. I don't really know it, right? I don't give a about him. If I ever seen him, it ain't finna be no what I don't know. I'm gonna be like, yo, bro, I know what's happening with you. Either he gonna respect that or respond to that. But if I get the paperwork in hand and I read this work, unlike most situations where it's going up, I'm gonna call my brother that's from over there, and I'm gonna be like, bro, this is what it is. I'm telling you, I'm looking at it. When I tell him that, either he gonna tell me, Wack, shit, send it to me. Or he gonna be like, bro, could you leave that alone? And then at that point, it's a lot of people I'm close to, bro, that if they ask me to leave something alone, I'll leave it alone. The Larry Hoover stuff, bro, I haven't put my team on going to find the work. I haven't.
And do you even know any GDs? You even tapped in with anybody associated with that?
Yeah,
okay.
I know them. But a lot of the youngsters,
they don't give a f.
You don't give a. Have you ever asked them? About dude, they say some crazy shit.
I don't even have to ask. I already know that.
Yeah, they be like, what? We don't give, they don't care about none of that. What they stand for and representing ain't got nothing to do with it.
I mean, you're talking about somebody who's 80 years old. Even I keep referencing King Yellow, but if he's 35 or whatever, I mean,
Yellow don't know him.
He don't know him. That's his time on the streets was completely different than
I asked him the other day, what did he, because they said they considered him a hero, and I was asking, out of curiosity, well, what did he do to be considered a hero?
Yeah.
One dude said, well, he came up with the format of the boys clubs. So we researched it. It's a Hoover, but it's a white Hoover, wrong Hoover.
Right.
Right? And then another dude said, we provided safe passage for the kids to get to school. But then they say he sold heroin to their parents at the same time. So I'm asking, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was just, Harriet Tubman, you asked me, I asked the dude, I said, well, Martin Luther King, can you tell me a few things that we had? He won a Nobel Peace Prize. He was a, peace marcher, the desegregation, the voting, the I Have a Dream speech. I said, okay, cool. Can you tell me some things Mr. Hoover has done? Because I'm curious. I want to know.
Well, think about it. Jay-Z gets treated like a hero, right? What's the basis of his whole story? He was a drug trafficker. He sold drugs.
Okay.
And then he made it out and became a rapper.
And then what else?
And then started Rock Nation and created a huge label and did a million different things with his life, for sure. But, I mean, the beginning part of his... Now, the difference with Larry Hoover is that the entire thing that he's famous for is being in the streets.
Bro,
being in prison for a very long time.
They gave him 200 years for a state case. So he's in there 73, 83, 93, 25 years or some shit. And then the feds come hit him with what he been doing in the state and give him 6 life sentences on top of that. So I don't think Jay-Z took Rock Nation money and brought 5,000 keys.
No.
I think he took Rock Nation money and did something else. I don't know.
And what would we all say if we found out that Jay-Z actually took his money from Rockefeller and invested in a bunch of keys? We would say,
we would have to put him over there.
What a fucking idiot.
We would have to put him over there.
God, he could have been one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time, and he had to fuck it up because he's
I told him, when they asked me, I said, the people I mentioned, they got mad when I said Elijah Muhammad. It pissed them off. I don't know why. I told, but, at the end of the day, again, I'm the only one on those platforms defending Larry Hoover against 1090. But I told him, 1090 on a mission, if he come back with some paperwork that says something faulty, they said, well, Wack, what you gonna say then? Well, I'm gonna use my reading skills and call a spade a spade.
If new information is presented, I will change my opinion.
That's it.
Right.
They said I shouldn't. I should just...
See, so many people have that. I think it's just because it's kind of unseemly to be hating on an old ass dude. Like, you just see that, it feels gross. It'd be like if you saw an 80-year-old man get knocked out by a 20-year-old, you'd think it looked horrible. And then you find out that the 80-year-old had, killed the 20-year-old's mom. Okay. But
then I'm gonna shake his hand.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like just a little different feel right there. The other funny thing too is that King Yella kept basically saying that 1090 is going to get killed for talking crazy about Larry Hoover. You believe that?
1090. I mean, not 1090. King Yella. This is the reason why Larry Hoover got smart in 2022. Because of people like him. You got a dude that was fighting for his life, right? And he's saying, gangster disciple now means growth and development. So what he's saying, right? Growth and development. Positive, 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 positive. He's trying to go to the board and show that he took a negative that he created and changed it to a positive. And then you get a dude like King Yella that says, they gonna kill you for saying that about Larry. The GDs. My nigga, like, pipe down.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? When you do that, you just totally erased all the positive things he was trying to do. And I think Larry was trying. So you know what he did in 2022? What? Denounced everything. Yeah. He said, I'm not GD Gates' disciple. I'm not GD growth and development, because these dummies was gonna keep saying and doing things that gave the board more fire to power to be against than for him.
Yeah, we gotta watch this. This is the funniest shit ever.
What is this?
King Yella dancing, celebrating Larry being free, not knowing that he was not actually free. Look.
King Yella.
God damn it. I got duped. I clicked on
See, bro, I'm gonna be real. I'm never wearing them pants right there. I don't know what they call. I'm not wearing no pants with no flowers on them.
That we is GD. Larry free. Get off our dick. Yeah, man. Truck just free Larry G's out, man. Y'all know what's going on. Welcome home, man. You hear me? God is good. Y'all know what's going on. Stop playing with
me. I told people, bro, Trump could only release you from the feds. Now, here goes the thing.
I'm gonna watch that like at least once a year for the rest of my life.
He got 200 years in the state, but he got 52, 53 in. Right?
Right.
He's eligible for parole. I think he got another board here in 2028. A lot of people are saying they're gonna let him go. Bro, they didn't let Tukey go. They didn't even take the death penalty off of him. I hope they let him go, but there's no guarantee, because his original date is 2062.
You want to hear my theory?
I think
if the governor of Chicago was a Republican, he'd probably already be out.
He'd be out. But they're not. They're against Trump. For them to let him go, Trump gets all the glory.
Exactly.
Because without Trump taking off them 6 life sentences, he's never got a possibility to come on. Now, he's on a medium. He probably could go outside at night, see the stars, use the phone when he want to. So, not to say that's like
it's going to improve his quality of life, for sure.
His ass been in ADX where he hasn't seen a person.
Right.
Couldn't touch mail, a letter, nothing.
What if he gets right back to trafficking and ordering hits and shit?
No, we're not going to say that. We're not going to even insinuate that. I don't believe he would do such a thing.
Speaking of Trump, Have you seen the beef that's going on between Elon Musk and Trump?
Yeah, it's kind of like Elon. Elon got to tread lightly, bro. Because Trump is a chess player.
Trump has so much more power.
It's like you played him to get all these things and do these commercials, get all this government funding, and now you're going against him.
Because Trump allowed Elon to get so close to the U.S. government that I'm sure that there's just so much shit that Elon knows about that Trump doesn't really want him to expose. So Elon's first move during all of this today has just been a war zone, for the record. On Twitter, it's been crazy with them. Well, really not Trump going back and forth. Trump's doing like press conferences talking about, but Elon said that the reason why the Epstein files have not been released is because of Trump and the fact that Trump was out there, which is really one of the craziest accusations that you could possibly make, because he's basically saying that Trump was fucking with children. I mean, really, like teenagers or whatever.
He's not saying that.
Well, but what is the other thing that's going on?
Release him don't mean Trump is with children.
What else is going on at Epstein's Island that you would be ashamed of?
He could have some more political partners that may have been involved in some things that he's trying to keep from getting exposed. I don't mean it was him.
Listen, maybe Elon doesn't actually think that, but by saying that, he's opening the door for that to be what most people assume, because that is what other illegal activities were going on at Epstein's Island? Maybe drugs, sure,
R&B,
but primarily weird sex stuff and underage girls.
We did. We pulled up on Epstein Island.
I don't believe you. I guess I'll just put it that way.
I swear to God, we pulled up on Epstein Island.
What did you do there?
When we went to the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
We went out there, chartered a boat. They pulled right up on it.
Okay.
They said it had just sold.
It's not really Epstein's Island anymore, right?
No, they sold it for like 20 million, 30, some low shit.
Just some other island.
They sold it for low, like, but
probably because it's got a creepy vibe.
What I'm telling you this is that it literally sits in the middle of the water. Your ass, once you there, ain't no getting off unless you get to a boat or a helicopter. There's no highways or nothing to take you here. So I can only imagine the people that's brought there knowing.
Right.
You better do what you told to do, however you told to do it, or you ain't leaving.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. There were moments where when the Elon and Donald Trump romance was like really heating up, where people in politics were saying, watch how this is going to end. Because Trump, notoriously, his friendships seem very much based on loyalty, people who are willing to suck his dick in order to get whatever they can out of their career, etc. And with the Elon thing, I think he has a lot more pride than the average person working in politics, because so many people, Republicans who are in Washington, will just literally do whatever Trump says. And we're seeing that even with people like Zuckerberg or Jeff Bezos, who are basically willing to bend the knee to keep Trump happy. And I mean, I never thought that they would go from seemingly cool to making the most vicious accusations about each other in the course of like what, a handful of days. Like, this is mind-blowing stuff, and who knows how bad it could get. Who knows who's working in the background to try to make this not get that bad. But this is out of control. This is like one of the craziest things we've seen in the history of politics.
First of all, I'm gonna be real. If you're asking me strategically, who's ahead of whom?
Elon is saying that Trump needs to be indicted.
Listen, I'm going to tell you Elon is ahead of Trump. I'm going to tell you why. I think when Elon made his move, whatever he did as far as donating to Trump's thing or whatever, to befriend him, Elon already knew why he was doing it, what he was going in there to do, what he was going in there to achieve, and how he was going to make his out. He knew the things he needed to find out to strengthen the hand he already had, and that's what he's doing. Now, you're going to know that because if you don't start to see Trump pull back on some of those funding he allowed to Elon, it's because Elon knows too much or has something.
It's all about this bill that has a ton of government spending. It has like almost $3 trillion worth of government spending, or that's going to increase the national debt by around $3 trillion. And the whole thing about it is that Trump put Elon in place to open the Doge agency where they could attack government spending. And it seems like Elon is actually kind of more principled in terms of his support for that.
He's saying, well, we're looking and you're the problem.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Trump doesn't give a he just wants to get his way in every possible way. So Elon's realizing that he might have, like, Elon really kind of fucked up his whole image by getting so behind Trump. There's so many people, like, look at how Tesla's stock is doing. Like, so many people.
Yeah, but you got it.
I would have considered buying a Tesla. I would never buy a Tesla now. You could give me a Tesla and I'm going to sell it on day one because I hate Elon Musk with such passion.
Why?
He's just such a lying bitch. He's a drug addict.
I mean, bro.
Allegedly.
Yo, listen.
He's just a crook. He's just like, I don't trust him.
Elon's a crook?
Yes.
Do you
know about his bet with Sam Harris?
What bet?
Okay. I'm going to talk about this. I've talked about this before.
Elon ain't no crook, bro.
Elon's a crook. Let me tell you why. So in the early days of COVID, there's a writer and a philosopher, I guess you could say, Sam Harris. Him and Elon Musk is tweeting about how COVID was just like the common cold.
Yeah.
Sam Harris reaches out to him. He says, I think this is really, really inappropriate for you to be using your platform to spread this kind of stuff because it's not true. Elon said, I will bet you $1 million that there will not be 30,000 cases of COVID in America.
He didn't pay his bet?
Now, as you all know, over a couple million people died from COVID in America. Died, not just cases. So you would think if we made a serious bet like that, and Sam is fairly rich too, even though the bet actually wasn't for $1 million. It was like if Sam won the bet, Elon was going to donate $1 million to his charity of choice. And if Elon won the bet, Sam was going to give him $1,000. I believe it was. It was like mismatched in that regard. So as it became obvious that Sam was the right one in this argument, Elon stopped responding to him and started trashing him on Twitter and obviously didn't pay up his end of the bet. Now, that's just one random story. That story right there, in a lot of communities that we're involved in, I think, like if we made a bet of $1 million, you didn't pay. I'm in the poker world. If somebody makes a bet of $1 million, they don't pay, you are eternally shunned from that world. So that right there is enough for me to say that I know that Elon has no principles and he's a piece of shit. That being said, I also think there's 1,000 other good examples. I can't say that
about Elon because
you met him one time.
I met him.
And you glaze him.
No, listen, when we stepped into his facility, he told the security, let Wack do what he want to do. He let me use my phone. I got all kind of crazy recordings. He let me wander around the grounds, asking questions. Kicked it with him and his son. Like, I got all the videos and shit, right? So he was cool with me. Like, he kind of told me his philosophy on dealing with his workforce.
Right, he was nice to you.
So no, he was cool. He was just, no, what I appreciated about Elon is he was just down. He was like, no, I walk in here, you were like, wait, what's up? Like regular. People would think that Adam is probably tucked away over here. You can't get to it. You be running around here with your little game, whatever you call that, chilling, right? It's just real shit. Like Elon's the same way. But
it's easy to be nice when you're fried off of ketamine all day. And actually, what I just realized
I don't think, dude, I didn't see him eat no.
I don't know if I've ever been in a situation where I was rooting for Trump so much.
I never saw him eating popcorn. I never seen him.
Ketamine. It's a drug. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't listen.
New York Times just did a huge expose.
If you want to debate me,
ecstasy, cocaine,
about all these new drugs.
He does way more drugs than me.
I don't know nothing about these new drugs. I don't know what they look like.
Just because you don't know about them doesn't mean that they're not real.
No, I'm not saying they're not real, but I don't know. Like when you say ketamine, like what does that do?
It's a tranquilizer.
To do what? Like keep it
get fucked up.
Okay, but what is an upper?
No, it's more of a downer. Chills you out. Apparently it's amazing. I've never done it.
See, where I come from, these dudes don't even do drugs right. And where I come from, you couldn't do uppers and downers. You speedball and your heart blow up on you. Now they
still do it.
They tooting cocaine, drinking lean, smoking weed, popping perks, whatever this shit is. I don't,
Yeah, that's
the old school drugs: crack, powder, marijuana, PCP, heroin.
So you look down on Elon because he doesn't smoke crack?
No, I don't look down on Elon at all.
I honestly don't really think
I respect his business hand.
It's definitely possible.
I respect his business hand.
Right. I guess, okay, I respect that too. That being said, I'm really joyfully watching Tesla's stock price go down.
Now, their stock, when it went down, all that was a play. Because if you brought into it that low, the shit went right back up.
Okay, let's do this.
Now, I don't like Teslas because I'm scared of them. I'm scared of that battery. I'm scared that if something happens, accident, the doors may lock up. The windows, you can't break them.
Look at this. Tesla's sales in Europe have experienced a significant decline with a 49% drop in April 2025 compared to the previous year. 49%.
So let me ask you something.
I'm having a good old time watching
me
this
ask
go
you
down.
something.
I'm gonna be honest with you. This is the most fun
Let me
I've had
ask you
watching the
something.
news
I
in a
want
while.
to see where you at with it.
Sure.
You think that affects Elon?
Yes.
No. Elon been got his money.
Why do you think he
Elon-
took a step back from Doge? Because they're gonna kick him off the fucking Tesla board.
Elon been got his money.
Yes, he has a lot of money. He has enough money that he doesn't have to make any more money, but he has very lofty
That ain't what we
ambitions
talking about.
in his career. He wants to build the next generation of space travel. He wants to build the next generation of
That's some
electric
ego
cars.
shit going on right now.
Right. He's gonna be rich either way. I get that.
Elon been got his money from Tesla many moons ago. He has to stay there in the position he is because he's the face and the voice of it, right? He wouldn't give a fuck if it plummeted. It don't affect his pockets. He's already been paid off from that. Now, the ego thing is anything I touch, I want to turn to gold, and I want to continue to enhance the things that I want to do.
Everybody views Tesla as being his. So regardless of what percentage of it,
that's why you pay him.
What percentage of it he owns, if Tesla flops, if Tesla implodes and is no longer a successful company, everybody on earth is going to look at that as Elon's failure.
That's where the ego kicks in. But what I'm telling you financially, he already done cashed in on Tesla.
I believe you that there's almost nothing that could happen to Elon Musk that would fuck him over financially.
We ain't talking about his overall finances. When it comes to Tesla, he's already cashed in. He didn't got what he's gonna get, and right now they just paying him his little salary, whatever it is. You need to be the face and the voice of this thing. That's how they do. You take these companies, they build it, they sell them, and then they stay in place and be the face of it because that's what brought it its value.
The thing is that Elon is very much involved with Tesla on a day-to-day basis. He's made it very clear that the self-driving robo-taxi thing is like his pride and joy. Like that's what he's dying to get off the ground and make that. He believes that that's going to be like the next great revolution in transportation, which it very may well be if it works out. I think it's all
a setup because they record.
Let's destroy our sales in Europe.
They drive themselves, and brother, they're dangerous. You get in an accident in those things, that battery goes.
They're a lot less dangerous than regular
burns
cars.
10 times hotter than a fuel fire.
Okay, but it's a lot less dangerous than human beings driving.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Then why are they allowing them to be on the roads if they're so much more dangerous?
I seen a video clipping of the ones that they got out in Arizona driving on the wrong side of the freeway.
There are incidents like that, but that doesn't really compare to a human being which gets drunk, looks for his keys while he's driving, smashes his wife's head into the dashboard while he's driving.
Gets drunk, it malfunctions.
Right. No, not consistently. What? And before it's deployed nationwide, probably most of that will be tied up. Now, obviously, this is a very lofty ambition.
Listen, have you studied the fires?
Not
how hot they burn?
No.
They shut the damn freeway down 18 hours.
Yeah.
Because the batteries went up.
Okay, well, Tesla then. Let's not buy Tesla.
They said, in order for them to dispose of the batteries, it's 3 times worse than what we're doing with the fuel.
So you think Elon's a genius, but you also think that he's pushing these death boxes onto the American people.
They're saying disposing of these batteries is 3 times worse for the environment than what the pollution is doing from the combustion of the fuel.
The important thing is that I have found someone who I like less than Trump. I didn't know that I had that in me.
Listen, man, I like Trump. I like Elon.
I do too. As long as if he's an Elon op.
Has he said something back to Elon?
He said that Elon has Trump derangement syndrome, which is fucking hilarious because that's what they've been saying about the Democrats for all these years. And now Trump says it about someone. I don't know if he's ever said it before today when he said it about Elon, which, Trump, you're kind of winning me over right now. Because, all he has to do is order a raid on Elon's crib and they're going to find all these drugs. And that's probably going to, Elon in prison could happen.
It could happen with any of them.
Yeah, but it's probably a little bit more realistic if he's got cocaine in his house. That being said, are you aware of what went on at Marathon Burger in Venice over the weekend?
No, what happened?
So basically, after the Almighty and Brandon incident, I think Brandon started it by saying that he was going to Venice to the Marathon Burger opening, right? And it became kind of like a challenge that Almighty wouldn't pull up. Brandon goes there from noon to 5 which I believe was the time.
That's way too long.
That's a very long time, right? That sounds crazy to me too. But the whole time he's looking at his phone and he's seeing on suspect's story, the suspect is advertising that he is going to go. But suspect doesn't get there till like 6:30. So Brandon's already gone. Suspect shows up. He's with his pops. He's with a couple other people, presumably looking for Brandon. I don't know exactly what they would have done to him, but they might have done something to him.
Okay, now question. Who said that they were just going for the grand opening versus, did Brandon say, I bet you won't pull up?
I don't know if he said those actual words, but it's something along those lines that eventually became.
I'm going to say it like this, whether it was suspect or Brandon, whoever tried to create some type of pull-up challenge is a bitch-ass nigga. Because why would you go to that man's place of business, right? Yeah. And bring in some no-jumper shit, especially Brandon, you already hollering, screaming a knife. So why would you go to that man's place of business to create that type of conflict? You could have totally met you at the Beverly Center. Go over there. Go over there, meet me at Carl's Jr. If Black Sam, and we already been seeing that the police, since the last bozo did the sabotage shit, had his broad record and then sold his own footage, ever since that happened, right? Police have been up there in the Hollywood location jacking motherfuckers, trying to make it uncomfortable, trying to get the word out that you might get pulled over, we gonna catch you with drugs.
Really? That's the word?
No, it's up.
Wow.
They've been jacking motherfuckers, right? So now here it is, he goes open the second one at Venice, right? Why bring that type of potential situation to the man's place of business?
Exactly. And from what Brandon said, from what other people said, it's like you go there, there's cops, there's security, and there's hella gang members. So it's like probably the worst place you could ever think to fight. Because if the cops and the security don't see you, the gangbangers are going to probably whoop your ass.
Whatever happens is a reflection on the business.
Yeah, it's disrespectful.
You don't want Marathon Burgers known as Murder Burger?
Oh, shit.
Known as the hot spots in the hood?
It's not the worst idea for a location right there.
You know, you don't like, that ain't what that is. That's what that was.
Murder Burger, coming soon to Burbank.
He could have got the spot at the corner of Crenshaw and Slauson. This is why he went to where he went, right? He's doing the total opposite on what they did with the clothing.
Right.
So Brandon, use a square. You shouldn't have did it. If you did it, I don't know. And Almighty, come on, bro. That's some bitch ass shit, because you ain't double back to catch Brandon up here after the fact, you know, when you got fired. So why take that type of problem to this man's place of business? This is real talk, bro. If you looked up and Wack walked in a Marathon Burger
looking for smoke,
that's me hating on this man.
Everybody's gonna say Wack's a kid for doing that.
Because I know it's a potential problem. And whatever happens gonna be so fucked up, they line to shut it down. They're gonna say, you know what? This happened over here and this thing happened, this tragedy. Now you bringing this. So I know as a businessman and as a man, hey, listen, like, you know, if you do that, what that's gonna bring to this, and that business, as far as I'm concerned, is bigger than Black Sam.
Yeah.
You know, every time I see him doing something like that, you know, I figure that's for, you know, the kids and Nip's kids and his legacy when it comes to that, right? But, you know, that's why people be thinking I'll be on some bullshit with Nip. I don't be on no bullshit with Nip. I'm just, if you ask me a question, I'm gonna give you an answer. Whether it's for or against you, I'm gonna give you a fucking answer. You know, can't nobody tell me how to answer. I'm not the sheep. I'm a wolf in my navigation through my life. So just because everybody else is over there, if I know everybody else over there and that don't make sense, I'm gonna speak my truth. Then they say, well, Wack, because you ain't going on with the flow, fuck it. If I'd rather stand a man and not be considered a follower, right? Then be with everybody else and you can hang out with everybody else, because you niggas is busters anyway. You ain't no motherfucking man. Your woman is laying next to half of her and she don't even know it.
Wait, what? What are you talking about now?
Just what I said. Any man who don't navigate himself and what his thoughts and what his righteous beliefs are, because the majority are saying, do it this way, I'm gonna call you a half a man. Straight up. You know what I'm saying? That's the perfect bed for a bisexual individual such as yourself. Because you got a full woman and you got a man over here that's half man, half woman. You could have your way all day and all night.
I don't know how this relates to the burger spot anymore, but okay. I kind of like lost the connection between Almighty and now you're talking about being with a bisexual man in bed.
I'm just saying that just people in general. Man, this lady.
Who's calling?
Tierra Marie, I don't know what's wrong with her. I put her on the phone with Ray J. I tried to rekindle that to get her some business. Then she turned around and cussed me out for doing it. I don't know. Well, Shout out to Tierra Marie.
I was starting to listen to an ad clip about something.
Hey, you know what?
Ray J related.
Hey, that'll be a good plug talk session.
What?
You and Tierra Marie and Linda.
Who's that? I don't know her.
Tierra Marie? Pull her up. I think that'll be a good session for you.
Tierra Marie.
Yeah.
Tierra Marie.
Hey, I can ask her.
Is this a trans person? Is that what you're trying to do to me here?
No, that Tierra Marie, fool, what you mean? She's R&B.
She's from...
She's been in movies, all kinds of shit.
She signed with Rockefeller.
Yeah, back in the day. That's a real person.
Never heard of her. What'd she do? Was she sued 50 Cent?
That's old.
Because he reposted images to his millions of followers.
It was a Cinnabon face.
So she's actually famous. I should know who she is.
Yeah, everybody knows Tierra Marie is trading lottery ticket with Bow Wow.
Looks like R&B.
Who? No, definitely not.
No.
No.
Okay, well.
No, that's natural beauty. That R&B thing is. She sings R&B.
Yeah.
You know, I could actually. She was calling. Hey, would you do plug talk with Adam and Linda?
Does she do porn? If the answer is no, then she probably shouldn't be on Plug Talk.
What I'm saying is, yeah, love, this shit finna go crazy. This shit finna go crazy.